If you enjoy this episode, please subscribe to Learn to Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are tuning in. If you love what you hear, consider leaving a 5-star review, as it will help other podcasters just like you discover this show. You'll find the show notes from this episode at learn2pod.com. Welcome back to Learn to Podcast, the show that will teach you everything you need to know to grow, create, and monetize a successful podcast. I am your host, Scott Weidenkiewicz. In this episode, we're going to talk about the technical basics of podcasting, including essential equipment, recording and editing software, and setting up your podcasting space. Now, the essential podcasting equipment you need includes a microphone. That is the most important piece of equipment, as it will determine the quality of your audio recordings. You can use a USB microphone or an XLR microphone. Headphones. You need headphones to monitor your audio while you are recording and or editing. A recording device. You can use your computer, a digital audio recorder or mixer. A smartphone can even record your podcast. And of course, you need a podcast hosting platform. This is where you will upload your podcast episodes as either audio or video files. And this is where people can actually find your podcast and listen to it. Now there is recording and editing software. There are many different recording and editing software programs available. Some are free, some are paid, some are downloaded software, some are through the browser. Some of the popular options include Audacity, GarageBand, Adobe Audition, Riverside FM, SquadCast, Zencastr, and Hindenburg. Recording and editing software will allow you to clean up your audio recordings, remove unwanted noise, and add music and sound effects. Personally, I use a combination of Riverside FM, SquadCast, and Descript in order to record, depending on the show, and edit my podcasts. Now, your podcasting space should be quiet and free from distractions. You should also have good lighting and a very comfortable chair. Well, that's if you're sitting. If you are recording with guests, you may want to invest in pop filters and shock mounts and just sound dampening, and of course, even better headphones than just the ones that come with your phone. You need to reduce as much background noise and potential reverb and echo from your conversations. Having the right equipment and software is essential for creating high-quality podcast episodes. By following the tips in this episode, you can set up your podcast space and get started recording. I encourage you to invest in some essential podcasting equipment and software. Then start recording and editing your podcast episodes. Now, if you go to the show notes for this episode, just go to learn2pod.com. You will find a link to all of the juicy details about the equipment and software that I use and recommend for you to get started with your show. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to joining you on this journey to podcasting success. We are all about creativity, innovation, and a touch of playfulness here at Learn to Podcast. We love building this amazing community of ours, and we've been brainstorming some fun nicknames to call our fantastic listeners. And yes, it's official. You're not just listeners. You're part of the crew. Greetings, Podfinders. That's short for Podcast Pathfinders. Thanks for tuning in to Learn to Podcast as we lead the way through the podcasting wilderness. Learn to Podcast does not currently have a sponsor or service to earn money from the show, but we cannot build our show without 3 incredible tools. That's why, in lieu of sponsorship, we want to share these incredible tools with you: Descript, Cast Magic, and Transistor FM. These products and services are what make Learn to Podcast possible. Check out our affiliate links in the show notes to learn more about them. And if you sign up, we do make a small commission. Thanks again, Podfinders, for tuning in.